The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
So let me just ask you a question. Is a kick a kick, or is it a kick if it's a big kick, but not a kick if it's a small kick? And
you are allowed to redirect a puck into the net.
Okay.
That's the confusion with the rule.
Right.
By jetting your foot forward.
Yes, you are allowed to do that. It is
as long as it's in the ice.
As long as you're not trying to injure somebody with your knife foot.
What am I doing to you under the table?
You're kicking me. You're not redirecting a puck. There's no puck coming towards.
Okay, what am I doing to your foot right now?
The rule
that's what you did. My foot is sliding across the floor. What am I doing?
The rule is in place.
I'm redirecting your foot
so that goalies don't get hurt all the time by guys kicking their ice shoes at them. So if you're allowed to redirect a puck with your skate into the net, it's okay. Okay. And they've set the precedent on Tuesday with the Vegas game. Mm-hmm. We already know this is how they're going to call it now. It's like the cross-checking.
So you're okay with it?
I'm okay. You should all be okay with it. It's in the rules.
They're going to call it this way all season.
No. It's going to happen for like
20 games.
A couple weeks, and then we'll go back to normal.
And we can talk about the other controversial call coming up. But obviously, we have... first off, today, as of like a few hours ago, the Charlie Mcavoy contract was just announced. So we'll get into that. But we do need to talk about the first six periods of Toronto Maple Leaf hockey.
Hooray!
We have Toronto beating Montreal. We have Ottawa beating Toronto. And after six periods, to me at least, the Leafs have been the best team in three of the six periods, which would make sense that they're 1-1. Is that fair?
What do we got?
So the first period versus Ottawa, I give to Ottawa.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Montreal. Yes. First period versus Montreal, I give to Montreal. Okay, especially that 10-minute span in between when the app was down, I couldn't watch. Steve, you need to talk to the company you work for. What the heck was that?
Do you want to explain? Do you want to take a detour before we do that and explain your frustrations on Tuesday night?
Yeah,
or
go ahead and trash my employer, Adam.
I'm not going to trash the employer because I think what happened is actually fair when you put it into context. But there are two things that drive me insane. Other than these two things. And you don't see this on the podcast much because one of them is this podcast is built around one of these two things. There's two things that drive me actually insane in the world, and they converged on Tuesday night together. Number one, when a very talented Leafs team underplays what they're able to do. That drives me absolutely bananas. And it's kind of one of those where you go, oh man, that's frustrating. Okay. Number two, okay. Technology that should work, simple technology that should work and doesn't. Also drives me crazy. And it's so bad that oftentimes I just end up calling Jesse and go, what do I do? Set up the Wi-Fi router and I don't know what to do, so I don't know. And it's not like I'm a little patient with it. It's as soon as it goes wrong, I'm upset and walking away from it. And I just get irrationally mad. I don't like this about myself.
Don't problem solve. Throw a wrench across the room. Be a man.
Those are the two things that drive me nuts. Everything else is I'm pretty good with that.
Dude, it's the worst. It's the worst. I'm so glad I don't edit the LFRs this year. Because it's the most helpless feeling in the world. Your computer stops working and you're like, well, I guess everything grinds to a halt then.
And it's like error 404--6+.
Oh,
I'll just Google that.
Oh, good. I'll Google that on the computer that doesn't fucking work. What am I supposed to do? Walk the dog? I got shit to do and a place to be.
Thank you.
And then I show up here after dealing with all that and you're like,
Thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, sorry about that. And I also, this morning, I changed the password on my Gmail.
What was it? Blurt it out.
I had to re-add my email to my Gmail account because we've got multiple Gmails. We got the Steve Dangle Gmail. We got my whatever. And for whatever reason now, that one account will not add attachments to it. That's my main email account. And I can't, from my phone, add attachments. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, it's an error. You can retry, but it's not going to work if you retry.
It's because you're old. So get good, old man.
On Wednesday, the Sportsnet app was down because they had too many users is the technical issue, I think, that everybody was saying that the app was having. Because Canada and Panama was on the app as well, the Sportsnet Now app, but it was free. So anybody could just watch it from there. So they had an abundance of users trying to watch that game, plus Hockey Night's first Leafs game of the season.
In as a business move, is a very smart business move. Mm-hmm. Get people download the thing. You go, oh, I can also watch the Leafs. Oh, I can also watch the. Oh, they got to unlock that. It's only $25 a month. What's the big deal?
Right. It was a great move by
smart
Rogers.
Except, you got to be ready for the flood of traffic. That Canada Panama game besides being one of the most exciting games ever,
Yeah.
is, there's going to be a lot of people who want to watch that.
It's so wild that the men's program was so bad for so long, and then it's just, here's Alphonso Davies.
Yeah, there's one guy.
They're good now.
Just one guy.
All right.
Yeah.
Hooray.
100%. 100%.
They're going to make the World Cup, and that's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, and then, okay.
Scotland's got a chance, too.
I was watching Tim and Friends yesterday.
That's not. How dare you?
Boo, Haggis.
What? Okay, yay Haggis. The anti-Haggis propaganda we were fed as children is wrong.
Is it good?
I like Haggis a lot.
Okay.
No, beavers.
Do you make it? Do you eat it? Do you eat it here? Like in Canada, or have you only had it in Scotland?
I have had it here.
Okay. I would eat it with you, but I only want to go to an authentic Scottish place to do that. Where did you have it?
Actually, a friend made it.
Oh,
That's real.
that's very authentic.
It was extremely good. And in Scotland, I had it at a few places, and one of them was the Glenlivet Distillery. My wife took a detour there to get me drunk on purpose because the roads there are really narrow, and I was terrified in the passenger seat, and she just got me drunk to shut me up. It worked.
And if you don't know what haggis is already, it is actually the national dish of Scotland. It's a type of pudding composed of...
Stop booing Scotland!
I'm rooting for Canada. What are you talking about?
They're not even
Play each other for
traitor.
quite a while.
Cheer for your country.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
So national dish of Scotland, it's a type of pudding, and it looks like a blob of beige. And it's liver, heart, and lungs of a sheep or other animal, minced and mixed with beef or mutton, and oatmeal, seasoned with onion, cayenne pepper, and other spices. Mixtures packed into a sheep's stomach and then boiled, because nothing from Great Britain, meat-wise, isn't boiled at some point.
Hey, you think that's upsetting? Look up blood pudding, or don't, because it's called blood pudding.
When I was in England the last time, I was up in Liverpool, and my ex thought it would be hilarious. We went to a restaurant, and she's like, "Oh, the blood pudding here is vegan." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So I ate the blood pudding, and I was like, "This is really good." And she's like, "It's not vegan." I was like, "Oh, okay, super duper. It's great."
The blood pudding
It's vegan.
That's very good.
Well, again, I'm not a vegan, but I was like, I'm not interested in eating congealed blood.
No.
It's not, as a concept, it's not. It is actually quite good. But as a concept, I was like, this is kind of gross. And then, anyway, she got me on that one.
So did you end up not watching the Leafs game?
Oh,
You were so mad at
So
the
I
app.
was upset, and I haven't had the chance because we've been so busy with this network stuff, and there's another show, a couple shows on the way. And so, that was Andrew Berkshire's first night. I was like, you know what? I haven't played Far Cry 6 yet. I got the super ridiculous edition that's got all the extra stuff on it because I love Far Cry. You remember I've been playing that for like 6 or 7 years. Far Cry 3.
Tell me about it all the time.
Love
Did you
Far
get
Cry.
like some sort of helmet?
I didn't get the helmet. No. But I am. So it's upsetting that I haven't had the chance to play it yet because I'm seeing all the clips on the internet. It looks amazing. And I was like, you know what? Leafs are playing like shit. And, and the technology's not working. And I got into, and I'm not kidding here, one of the grumpiest moods I've been in a long time.
Did you have the grumpies?
I had the grumpies. And when you're aware of your grumpiness, but there's actually nothing you can do. And I was so grumpy that I couldn't even get my ass out of my seat to go turn on the PS5, which is, by the way, a remote controller.
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
controller does it.
Because I was like, I'm sticking with this. I'm sticking with this, and I'm going to wait. And then, of course, I think by minute 15 of the first period, they had it up and it was going. And it didn't look great, but the rest of the game was okay.
Yeah.
So it was one of those nights, though, and I don't know if you've ever had one of these where you're like, I'm really grumpy. It's time to put myself to bed. We need a reset here.
What a dad.
I got to put myself to bed. We got to reset this. But I did watch the whole game. I watched all last night's game too, as I'm sure you did. And as I said, through 6 periods, I give the last 2 periods of the game versus Montreal to the Leafs.
Yep, correct.
And I give the 3rd period last night against Ottawa to the Leafs.
Sure.
Yep.
So it makes sense of that, that they're 1-1. The problem is, and I got piled on yesterday for something I tweeted, and I kind of understand it to a point. It's not how they win or how they lose. People are like, it's game 2. Who cares if they lose?
What did you tweet?
I tweeted about how I thought they look like a 4th place team. I thought that they were not 4th place in the division team. I thought they didn't look sharp. I thought that it was sort of like, hang on, I'm just going to go down here.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was essentially like, this is they're playing like garbage. This is unacceptable. And people are like, listen, man, it's. I said, okay, the Sens did to the Leafs in the first period what Montreal could have done last night, because Sens were up 3-0 by the end of the first, and Montreal could have been too.
Jack Campbell. I mean, God bless Peter Mrazek, who actually did play pretty well until he was hurt. Jack Campbell saved them.
Yep,
saved them
in game 1.
Yeah, he did. And then I said, I don't care if it's early. Every game this season, every game matters. And then I said, and then looking like a fourth place in the division team, barely. That's how I felt. Now, that might have been a little irrational, but as we saw in the Amazon On Demand documentary, or Amazon Prime documentary, they knew from game 1 last year what the problems were. They were all the problems that we talked about on this show. They're all the problems that were talked about on Twitter. They're all the problems that were talked about on every sports show that covers hockey. When you talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, sloppy D zone, starts late, all the stuff that you see. And I'm seeing all that again. And so I guess because coupled with the short summer, so I haven't forgotten how it ended, and then the documentary reminding me of how last season went, and then seeing it this season, and again, both games they come out flat.
Well, and they went to Tavares' cottage and they were so mad.
Media people need to stop telling that story.
They were so mad.
They said some things, guys.
Is it north of the city? Tell me again.
Oh man, where all the cottages are, because south of the city is water.
Oh, crazy.
I don't know, guys.
North of the city,
he
because Tavares doesn't have an underground lair like a Bond villain. Tavares has a quaint little cottage next to Billy Bishop Airport. Like, how the anyway.
So people got on me a little bit because they said it's game 2.
Sure.
Are you putting up the Duke, Steve?
I know, I'm ramping up.
I actually really had a great back and forth with somebody named Rick. Shout out Rick, who said, "Listen, he disagreed with me on the fact that it was game, the game 2 thing.
Yeah, it was game 4,
which we can get to in a second. But he also said, like, listen, man, like, don't be so goddamn negative. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe you're right, but it's very difficult. And maybe you guys can help me. I was hoping we'd do a little group therapy today. The scene in the Amazon documentary where Paul McLean's like, they got demons under their car, they got demons in their bed. Mm-hmm. I think some of us fans, maybe not all, but me, I know this about myself. I got demons.
Oh, have you ever watched the game everywhere with an older relative?
Yeah.
My uncles are damaged. I can't watch Leafs games with them. I know my cousin Alicia. Mm-hmm. Your dad. Like, I know she listens. Your dad.
Can you watch with Uncle Rocky?
My Uncle Rocky's fine. He's chill.
Okay.
Uncle Lenny.
Oh, really?
My godfather. I have a godfather named Leonardo. Don't you ever not call me Italian again. All right? My godfather,
that might
Leonardo.
be the most Italian sentence ever spoken.
I know, because sometimes you're not a real Italian. Really, I have a godfather named Leonardo.
I haven't answered Adam's question.
So, no, wait.
Hang on. We'll get to it. I'm going to throw to you next.
Right. I cannot watch because they turn over the puck once. Nope. Well.
Yeah, Stanley Cup.
Well, there you go. I've seen it.
And you know what happens? I always go, stop it. You're being negative. And I'm not making this up. Every time I watch a game with them, Money in the Bank, the Leafs allow 7 goals.
Oh, that sucks too.
Money in the Bank. I can't do it anymore.
I have a story about that in a second, but Jesse, go ahead.
I think what you tweeted and like that perspective that you had on last night, it's exhausting for most people because you can't do it 82 times. You can't get, like, the three of us probably can. Steve definitely does every year.
My head hurts.
The average fan, they can't take, hey, this team is awful 82 times over the course of 6 months. It's a little much. I think you need some balance. So when people come at you and they're like, it's game 2. Mm-hmm. Like, are we going to do this are we going to do this again on Saturday? So I think that when you immediately see it, it's a little exhausting.
I understand.
And I get that.
Well, and I would like to acknowledge how grumpy Gus I was after the Leafs lost Game 7 at the end of May for at least a month.
You were, well, there was, the thing is too, like, remember here, there's been a lot of personal changes. And sometimes I think that fed into it too. Like, somebody DM'd me about it and they're like, hey, like, I feel the same way. I haven't wanted to say anything. And I'm like, listen, I'm always open to feedback, but you have to understand, as much as we joke about a divorce, it's not easy. And then everybody went through a pandemic, and then the Leafs blew 2, all or nothing games, right? It's tough. and you had a kid, you had back problems, you weren't sleeping. Like it was.
Is this still
cannot-
related to the Leafs?
Yes, because sometimes I'm just talking about
But
where
it's
the
life,
negativity
though.
can come from, right?
But it's life.
Yeah. It's
And-
like you just want the one thing in your life to be the Leafs are my one thing.
I can't emphasize how little mental energy I had left by the end of that playoff run, just in life.
Yeah.
Not even in hockey. And I can't properly tell this story. One day I will, but I lost an unforgivable amount of money because they blew a 3-1 series lead.
Mhm.
And every year, I just look at the complete lack of anything on my channel after they lose in the first round, and I'm just like, one run ever.
Yeah.
Please. And I'm not even talking about YouTube revenue. Oh my God. I was so mad. I understand.
I think that's different than game 2.
Yeah, I
It
think
is.
you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right, and I
is,
think
but
that's what I
it's
mean
all
about
negativity.
It's
Yes.
and it's the ghosts thing, right? So this is what I wanted to do today. And I promise you this, if you listen to this show and you've been feeling a little bit like, guys are a little bit, I get it. So let's discuss what's good and what's bad, because that's really what it should be. And win or lose, this show should be entertaining for you. So,
Okay.
you know, to Rick and to Ashley and to all the other people that reached out, I really appreciated the feedback. And for me, you know, as frustrated as I am, this is the thing. People are like, it's game 2. Sometimes what I say is, it's year 6.
You said that last night. It's such a good point. It's such a good point, man. Listen, Richie. All right, you just got here. Bunting, you just got here.
He
This
played
is-
20 games. Like, what are you going to say about Michael Bunting?
This is Tavares' 4th year with the team now.
Mm-hmm. Third as captain.
Yeah, third as captain. Matthews isn't in the lineup. Okay, fine. This is Marner's 6th?
Yeah. And Nylander 7th.
Nylander 7th.
yeah.
Riley was drafted 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Coney 2012. Remember that shit? That was the year he was drafted.
That's crazy. Oh my
That was the year he was drafted. The lockout. Remember that?
Yeah, man.
Before the lockout was announced 2 months prior, that was when Morgan Riley was drafted. Go look up what Morgan Riley looked like when he was drafted. That's how long ago.
Little
it was.
baby. I think Brian Burke drafted him.
Brian Burke drafted him.
That is fully 4 GMs ago.
Yes.
3 team presidents ago.
Even Jake Muzzin is not a shiny new toy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
I think
very difficult.
So here's where my negativity came from, and this is what I wanted to get to, was the fact that all of the problems that plagued the Leafs last year, despite the fact that they finished first in the division, we knew there was a problem here. Like, we knew there was problems, there was holes, and no team's perfect, but there were major flaws that you're like, oh, red flag on that one. Like all the red flag tweets you're seeing.
The worst trend in the world.
It's really not. I don't know. It's not that even creative. I like people are like sentence.
Just put one.
Anyway, the end of the day, I think it's like, oh, these problems again. And so what I vow to you is that I'm not going to be negative like that, because I think Jesse nailed it. It can't be like that every game. We can't do that every game. So what do we need to do to, as presenters here, to be able to kind of talk about this? So here's what I did. I went through and I said I think the Leafs won 3 of 6 periods. I think that that Peter Mrazek deserved better, especially after before the groin injury, which has me a little spooked as well, because what happened last season? Freddie Anderson down, Jack Campbell down, Michael Hutchinson down, Jack Campbell back, Jack Campbell down, Freddie Anderson back, not playing great. Jack Campbell sets record. Thank God we had him going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? It was the goalie thing was a thing.
We got Chris Johnston's article in the Star is really good. They got Mrazek so that he could split games with Campbell, and now it's Campbell's net. 2 games in.
Yeah, and a groin injury for a goalie, it takes a while.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a month here. It's going to be Campbell and Hutchinson for
That
like
might
a
come
month.
down during the show, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
we haven't seen that.
looks like Hutch will start next week versus San Jose.
Yeah.
Oh, take the over.
So here's the interesting thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs now. I think it's really shown you as a fan, if it hasn't shown you this as a fan, maybe you haven't thought about it, how valuable Austin Matthews is and how much better he is than anybody else on this roster.
You should make $50 million.
He is, with no offense to the Senators, if you were to line those 2 teams up without Austin Matthews in the lineup, on NHL 22 and put it through a simulator, the Leafs should win like 8 out of 10 times. And especially with the goaltending that the Leafs have, like Anton Forsberg stood on his head, I'll give you that. And of course, he set a career record with saves against somebody. It had to be the
46.
Leafs. So, but Austin, he really is the truest game breaker. Like, he is the X factor. He is, even if he doesn't score, the people that he draws is going to open up the ice for everybody else. And I think if the first 2 games should teach you anything, the Leafs team as it stands this year has yet to develop. Riley and Brody looked a little off last night, but I have to say that the thing that really stood out to me was how great Austin Matthews is for this team and how much they miss him when he's not there, despite the fact that they have a good record without him. Yeah,
the entire offense seems to be built around having him in the center spot on the first line, because it pushes everybody else down. Tavares is capable of being a number 1 center, but he gets to play this secondary role. Nylander gets to play on the wing in more of a sheltered spot. Marner gets this great partner, and when he's not there, it's such a gaping hole.
Yeah.
Can I tell you who I hope? I don't know about the next Toronto Maple Leafs head coach should be, because I like Sheldon Keefe.
Oh, what?
I like Sheldon Keefe.
Is this what we're doing?
He should be the Leafs coach for a long time. But
yeah, I like him too.
Okay.
One day, the Leafs head coach should be Jason Spezza.
Oh, man.
God's gift to the franchise. Look, what did we do? What did we do to deserve him?
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Every game they play like dog shit, he's their best player.
Yeah.
Him and Willie.
Hey.
And you know what? Spezza scoring that goal last night, you could feel that it just shifted immediately. Like, if they'd had another period, I think the Leafs easily would have caught up.
Are the Leafs down multiple goals? There he is. There he is again.
Setting up Nylander.
Remember last year when the Leafs waived him and he didn't get claimed because he said,
I'll retire.
I'll just retire, please don't. Run for mayor.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Also, how dare Dubas waive Spezza?
I know.
Don't do that.
But he was like, he's okay, by the way, why he waived Jason Spezza, I'm pretty sure, like, so that he could protect Jimmy Vesey.
Well, look how that turned out.
Like, well, I don't know. There were other options, I'm sure.
Wow.
Other than waiving Jason friggin' Spezza.
And if I'm another GM this year, based on how Spezza played last year,
you go yoink, haha.
Yeah, I'm taking him. Oh, he's retired. Bummer. Sorry,
Bummer.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's not happening this year. He's
I
not
don't-
getting. He's not getting waived.
Not after what 30 points last year. Yeah, no.
First PP. Like, he's not getting waived.
He's so unbelievable.
So and
gift.
And I love. Is there anything more satisfying than see William Nylander succeed? He was the best player in the playoffs for them last year, and 2 absolute dynamite William Nylander shots in 2 games.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
There's a lesson here. I learned something by having fans back in the building.
Okay.
Because you can really take a temperature check. Because hockey Twitter is like kind of its own thing.
Sure.
Twitter does not represent the real world.
It's not real
it
life.
doesn't. It's not.
No, but 20,000 people is a good sample size. You know? So, William Nylander with 2 amazing what?
Goals.
2 amazing goals. 2 amazing shots.
2 amazing shots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll get you up out of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
The play that I admired the most from him was him. There was a play that was tweeted yesterday. Brett Kulak goes to make a puck out of the corner, and William Nylander swoops in and goes, "You thought," and just takes it. Jeff Petrie goes, "Actually, it's mine," and William Nylander goes, "No, it's frigging not." He just gronks him off of the puck. And even your uncle, who hates this dude, not mine.
Your uncle's like, William?
Uncle Nardo, I've never called him that once in my life.
Okay.
Uncle Lenny would be like, "That is a great, strong play." What is the biggest... Okay, so yesterday was in Ottawa.
Yep.
That's a little different. In Scotiabank Arena, game 1 against Montreal, what got the biggest pop?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
I'll tell you. Austin Matthews pregame standing. In
Yeah.
the suit.
Okay.
It did.
After that
You're
moment, let's be honest. 20,000 people in Scotiabank were sitting on their hands.
I want to.
Except for, there was a moment where they weren't.
Austin Matthews in his t-shirt suit.
After the game
He looked good.
started,
Miami Vice. Very
he looked
cool.
very cool.
the 5-on-3 penalty kill, Justin Hull blocking a shot.
Okay.
That was great.
Fans left the building that night liking David Kampf a little more.
Yep.
Liking Justin Hall a little more. Everyone who blocked a shot on that penalty kill more. They got outshot 8-2 at the beginning of the game after getting embarrassed by the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs. Elliot Friedman said it off the top of the broadcast. This team embarrassed you. You got to come out and show them. And they respond like that. Toronto's the hardest city to play in the world. Oh, it's such a tough hockey market. Bullshit. The fan base wants exactly one thing, and that's for you to work hard. Justin Hall goes, yeah, I should have had the seam, and he was beating himself up for how he played it, but he made up for it by literally sacrificing his ass. He went, and he shoved his entire body in front of that puck.
He was amazing.
Tim Brent, in a season where they didn't even come close to the playoffs, blocked the shot with his nuts over a decade ago, and we still talk about it. This fan base talks about Shane Corson
Shutting down Alexei Yashin.
Shutting down Alexei Yashin, where they in a year where they won 2 rounds.
That's it. But it's legendary.
Gary Roberts, where they won 2 rounds. We still talk about Darcy Tucker, who got bought frigging out. We talk about Ty Domi, who got bought frigging out or traded in Nashville, whatever it was. Literally just work hard. That's all we want. That's all we want.
Yeah. Well, you've seen it from Willie. And that's the thing. That's the guy that everybody gets on about, quote unquote, not working hard. And I know they've had their challenges with him. They talk about that. They've been open about the fact that
ice, he's an enigma. Right. That's what they always say.
On ice, he takes shifts off. I haven't seen him take a shift off through 6 periods.
And I didn't see that in the playoffs.
I didn't see him take a shift off in the playoffs.
It's a whole new William Nylander. It's great to see.
This was from Jonas Siegel in his article this morning. Expected goals when William Nylander is on the ice is 70%.
Wow.
That's absurd.
He's an animal.
It's not sustainable, but right now through 2 games, 70% is unreal.
That's a man.
Yeah.
Like that dude his chest hair and biceps. Like that is a physical specimen, and he's figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I love it about him.
You know what? That play that you mentioned, I saw it, and then I saw it again on Twitter, the one where you took it away. It was very Mark Stone. That's what Mark Stone, to me, the best part about Mark Stone, he's got a lot of great qualities, and unfortunately, he took a weird shot last night and is injured. Did you see that?
No.
He wound up for a shot and then hurt himself, and they had to, I think it was something in his leg, and I haven't seen any announcement on what exactly the injury is yet, but he was almost literally carried off the ice. He skated to the bench, and then he had to be helped to the dressing room.
Oh, I didn't see
It's just a wonky thing. He took a shot and then whatever. But Mark Stone, one of the things that is so great about him, and what makes him so effective, and what was so surprising about how he played against Montreal, is that he's a takeaway machine.
Mm-hmm.
He will take the puck away from you again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. That's what I loved about that. So, the first couple games of the season are going to be a bit of a mixed bag. And the thing is with the Leafs, as Leaf fans, we were used to them coming out and just scoring and steamrolling people with goals, right? It was like 10-6. Toronto, Winnipeg, it just crazy. So that is clearly not what's happening this year.
No.
Also, let me throw this at you. We got to talk about the Tavares penalty at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's not a penalty.
So first off, as an aside to that, is there ever a time where Sheldon Keefe just even talks to you where you're not a little intimidated?
Oh man, imagine him yelling at you, but there isn't the air of he'll get fined $25,000 for giving you legitimate criticism. Is Tavares going to get fined today? He called the call brutal. Is he going to get fined? He's right. Make the refs available. I saw someone was yeah, but I'm looking at it right now.
It's on the screen.
Oh, you can see from the angle that the ref is on, you can't blame him for making that call. Yes, I can. What's Tavares supposed to do? Cheat to the camera? This isn't friggin' Instagram. There's less than a minute left in the game. Get the call right! That's a guy who's been in the league for over a decade. You're standing right in front of it. There's less than a minute to go in a 1-goal game. That's the captain of the visiting team. And you make that call. It's not his fault. It's yours. You suck.
Now, what I will say to that is that I feel like they're cracking down on a couple things this year. Obviously, cross-checking is a big one. They've been out there about that. And that's the right thing to do. Cross-checking needs to stop. Except for when Shea Weber comes back, then they'll be like, well, Shea Weber can do it. And then number 2, I think they're going to go anytime a stick gets near the hands. They've been calling that
twice.
His stick does get near the hands.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it made contact. I'm not saying I agree with it. But I can see why the call was made. I can see it. Mm-hmm. Easily can see it.
There's 2 distinct moves there. There's the one before the red line, and then the second one when he actually gets the puck.
And
he chops here 1, and then he chops here again 2.
They don't call the 1.
They don't.
They call 2.
They call 2.
So there's 2 opportunities.
But 2 is clean.
Yeah, but if from the angle of the ref down the ice, like exactly what Adam just said. Anytime that stick comes up and it's near, it was also near his face. It came up near his hands and near the middle of his body, right here.
That's nowhere near his face.
Well, then it's near his hand. It's near the middle of his body, and there's 2 hacks at it, and Tavares gets called.
It's the wrong call.
It's an unfortunate call in a very unfortunate time.
Yeah, and I think too, part of it is like we're used to watching hockey where in the last 2 minutes the refs go, we're not going to call questionable shit.
Yeah,
and it seems like this year they are. And to be honest with you, who has asked for that more than us?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
who has asked for the rules to be called more than Leaf fans?
Connor McDavid's looking at this being like, okay, I hope these get called in game 83.
No, I understand that, and I wondered that to myself because I'm like, we called for more penalties. We didn't. That's not a penalty. We've called for,
and I agree
when they're
with
like,
that.
hey, we're going to crack down on cross checks. I'm like, cool. You're going to call cross checks. By the way, we're cracking down on cross checks means we're literally just going to call cross checks. That is a stick lift.
And it was the right. And by the way, Tavares
also,
was
he missed the stick lift.
Yeah.
He doesn't lift his stick at all.
Not until he gets to the blue line.
No, he
does lift it a little later, doesn't he?
Yeah, here he completely misses.
That's not what he's called for. Look at the hand. Look at the ref.
No, but
he calls the second one.
It's a whole sequence of motion. Like the ref sees him hack twice. You call it.
No.
If
that's the
Tavares
wrong
keeps
call.
his hands,
it might be a mistake,
right?
But I think it's in a microcosm. I think it's what we should expect, and that could be a good thing.
Well, it's because okay. Well, I tell you what, Tavares is going to retire early.
I don't. That's what he does. Listen, I know that it was the wrong call. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying, even as a mistake, I can see why the call was made.
Oh, sure, but it's a mistake.
100%.
It cost 100%. The team the game.
Well, no,
it didn't. No,
the three goals in the first period.
Okay,
2 periods.
Okay, it's a. With 45 seconds left, it's a death sentence.
Sure.
But lesson learned, don't be dog shit for an entire period.
Right. And I think for the Leafs too, I think what's important here, and any stat will tell you, the most important period is the first period. If you get a lead in the first period, your chances of winning go up exponentially.
How is a team so known for choking also known for starting terribly? How did they win the division?
Yeah, you know what? They're good comeback artists. If they could just figure out the first period or the first 10 minutes even and get up a goal on pretty much everybody because they have the scoring, they could come back from anything if something is disastrous in the second period. We know they can come back. I'm going to go as far as they allowed a goal with less than a second left in the first period, and it didn't get their attention to the point where they allowed another opportunity with less than 5 seconds to go in the second period, and now a goalie's going to be out for a month.
Can we talk about that goal? Let's talk about Engvall and what he's doing there.
That's the first one.
Okay.
That's the one with less than a second left. That was on the turnover.
You mean his... Okay, well, I'd love to talk about his power play goal in the first game.
Sure.
Okay, let's back up to that.
Because that was nice to see.
Yeah.
I don't... Listen, as much as I'm hard on Pierre Engvall, and I'm not really sure about Pierre Engvall, as sure as some other people, it's not like I don't want him to succeed.
In the first 2 games, we've gotten the full scope.
Okay, so tell me that.
We've gotten the good and the bad. The first game was all good. Forget the goal. Great goal. Dangled Sherratt out of his jock.
Crazy.
That was awesome. Good shot. Like it was smart. It was skilled. It was everything Pierre Engvall is capable of. But he worked hard. He was a horse. He was fast. He was picking pucks off at the defensive blue line, at the offensive blue line. He was making life difficult for the Montreal Canadiens. The heroic effort in the final minute to rag the puck a little bit and delay Montreal's breakout. It was so good. And then he got a little too carried away with himself. And he goes for the open net behind the red line, not even close. And he ices it, and that could have literally cost them the game. It could have cost them the game.
Offensive zone, face off. You're a little worried it's the Leafs.
Yeah. And it's your job to clean up the mess because it's an icing call and you have to stay out there. Literally, if the Habs tie the game, it's entirely your fault. Mm-hmm. And Keefe, went, oh, ha, 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 like made fun of it. And Engvall followed it up with not a very good game.
Is this goal the first goal or second goal? Or the third goal?
Which?
Engvall passing the puck to nobody in the middle of the ice and Ottawa takes it.
I thought that was the first one.
Is it the first goal?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll trust you on that. What's going on there? that's my only question is, why does it seem like Toronto Maple Leafs are prone to, hey, Dermott, I'm going to do a spin in the middle at the blue line. I'm going to turn over and the other team's going to score. Engvall is going to pass it to nobody. Justin Hall, who's skating backwards towards his own goal. I'm going to try and throw it to the middle of the ice and going to be taken. What's the decision-making going on with Leafs in their own zone and not being able to get the puck out?
So I think it was Ray Ferraro was like, oh, that puck has to get out here. Their policy is they want to possess the puck, and puck possession is good. And there have been a few instances already this season where people have talked about, like mockingly talked about puck possession like it's a bad thing. There are times where the thing to do is give it away. Right. That's one of those times.
And it's giving the puck away isn't necessarily even giving it away. If you hustle hard enough, you can win a battle in the corner and get the puck back.
You can, but the play to make, okay.
The play to make is not back towards your own goal.
If you're going to give it away on that side of the line.
Right.
Give it away on the side of the line that is 3 or 4 feet away from you. It's right there. Just chip it. Mm-hmm. Just chip it. If it hits a leg or something and you take it too many men, I mean, damn, what are you going to do about that? But you don't want to give it away leading to a goal. Oh, is this what we're looking at? That's the first one?
This is the whole sequence, yeah. So
that's the first goal.
When I say what's going on here, is it a directive from coaching to not send the puck up the ice when that's the easy move? Is it a directive to, hey, try and do something in your zone to rag the puck around and keep it with our team?
That pass in particular, there's no justification for it. There's absolutely
When you say that pass, can you explain it?
So it's basically, I mean, it's not entirely dissimilar to what Galchenyuk did in overtime at Game 5.
There's another instance.
It's a cross-ice pass, except this is in your defensive zone.
Yeah.
No, like you're honestly better off dumping it into the back corner to nobody.
And
like, do anything but what you did.
When Engvall has the puck, he's facing his own goal. When Justin Hall is coming back to supposedly retrieve that pass, he's also facing his own goal. Mm-hmm. And then Muzz is kind of just hovering in the middle. It's an odd way to set up a hockey team who should be breaking out and heading down the other way of the ice.
I think there must have been a miscommunication.
It sounds like there had to have been a crossed wire there.
Well, and also, like, I think we underestimate how many decisions in an NHL game are just blind panic. Blind panic and instinct, and I think that happened there. And, he's a guy who plays with speed, standing dead still. There's traffic all around him, and he went, "Aah!" And that's pure Engvall. There's all these things he can do, and he does that. It's our criticism. We had this exact conversation with Kasperi Kapanen, with our experience with him in Toronto, but also what he can be in Pittsburgh. Here are the things Kasperi Kapanen can do. Here's what he does. Here are the things Pierre Engvall can do. Here's what he does.
Yeah, so you get the yin and the yang, right?
Yeah, and like even his penalty that he took in this game, I didn't have a problem with it. One, I thought it was a soft call, and two, I mean, it probably prevented a goal. Mm-hmm. It's stuff like that drives a coach nuts. That shouldn't be a goal because it shouldn't be a scoring chance. It shouldn't be in your zone at all.
Hopefully, as the season progresses, though, and maybe to the fact that perhaps, and I don't know if this is necessarily the case, perhaps his lineup spot's a little more sure this year. Like, he's gonna play. So when you don't feel like if I fuck up, I'm out of the lineup, it can calm your brain down.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe with, maybe in 20 games, because, it's the first two, right? You're a bit jittery. Maybe in 20 games, he's not making that play.
Man, when the Leafs started making Alexander Barabanov a healthy scratch, and then they put him back in, he was a wild man. So there's something to that. And I don't want to be this guy because it's a good story. And as time has progressed, I've tried to make less of a big deal about the fourth line. I don't get this whole Michael Amadio thing.
What do you mean?
You don't like him? Not playing well?
What does he do?
You tell me.
Well, my least favorite thing about him is he's not Adam Brooks.
Yeah.
But so I watched him in the preseason. I'm like, okay, works hard. That's good. Mm-hmm. I like that. Perhaps he's more of a playoff guy, and that's how they view him. And then I've been watching him since the season began, and I'm like, man, we gave Curtis Gabriel shit for his skating. And this guy...
Well, maybe too. Again, maybe it's like, again, I'm going to reference the all or nothing Toronto Maple Leafs. Jimmy Vesey, you could say the same thing last year. Like and Sheldon even said it to him. He's like, I need you to have a thing. So maybe this is the opportunity, as you do at the beginning of the season, to go, okay, find your thing.
Right.
Maybe he hasn't found it yet. And I think, 2 games in, we'll give him the 2 games in and let him go a few weeks and we'll see what happens.
You want to do the positive thing?
Yeah.
We're going to do the criticism sandwich or whatever it is?
Compliment sandwich. Compliment, criticism, compliment.
You have smelly dog farts. Michael Bunting has found his thing. Mm-hmm. And that is getting the shit beat out of him every shift and loving it with oh, God, what is the matter with you, Michael?
I think people are going to really like him. Like, I think they're really going to get into Michael Bunting as a Leaf.
He's a little bit of a sociopath, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, there's something wrong with him. It's cool.
Now, something we should talk about. If you're,
are we moving off the Leafs?
We were going to move off the Leafs, but if you want to hit something else,
has
please.
Nick Ritchie been a disappointment?
Again,
no.
Couple games.
No,
in.
okay.
No, he came in to be guy 3. Guy 3, go to the net. That's what he's been doing. Like, I should be noticing Marner more than I am. I should be noticing Tavares more than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I should be noticing Kerfoot at all.
Kerfoot's been invisible.
He didn't have a great game last night.
Find a
2 great
thing.
Games.
Find a thing. Jared McCann looks great, by the way.
Yeah, 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, cool.
82 game pace.
Cool.
82 goal pace, that is. So. No, but
I don't think Kerfoot's going to be on this team.
You don't, eh? Why not?
Trade bait?
Well, I don't think it was we need this player. I think it was we can't lose this player for nothing.
For nothing. Okay.
There were rumors Dylan Strome might be on the move.
Yeah, I think it was Freach that tweeted it out a couple days ago.
The money, if I'm not mistaken, matches roughly.
And what would Dylan Strome bring that you're not getting from Kerfoot? If that were to happen, like
hopefully a thing. Like, yeah. I don't know, a little bit more offense, obviously. Like, okay, it's like the Leafs are trying to make Kerfoot into this defensive player, but he's a playmaker, except for when he's not. And he can be an offensive player, but they need him to play this role. He needs a thing. Like, are you versatile or a plug? You know what I mean? And there are times where I'm like, man,
I feel like I've had this conversation with my boss before.
Yeah, like there are times where I watch him, I'm like, this is a really versatile player. And there are games like last night where I'm like, you're an AHL call-up. You're a talented AHL call-up. They all need to find a thing.
Right. And it's a few games in, we'll see what happens.
It was Pierre LeBrun in The Athletic who said, as discussed on Insider Trading, Dylan Strome potentially could be on the move. The Blackhawks have been getting calls on him, according to leaked sources. Teams are aware the Blackhawks have a surplus at center after trading for Tyler Johnson this offseason. Plus, there's been a healthy return of Taves and Doc. Strome, the 3rd overall pick by Arizona in 2015, makes $3 million this season and then is an RFA. There you go.
Maybe even Dermott. I don't know.
There's mentions that Ottawa
there
might make sense for a Strome.
Well, they need a center with Colin White out. Another thing lost in that game. I'm sorry. You have to beat the Brady Tkachuk Sens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to talk about that because I actually thought it was awesome theater having him come out, having him sign that morning. I almost feel like I looked at Sid Sixero had a tweet that morning and said, like, Brady Tkachuk will not be in the lineup for the Senators tonight. Eugene Melnyk is a disgrace. And I thought Eugene probably saw that and was like, fine, fucking sign him. I'm going to show this guy.
Yeah, people keep talking about the contract and the cap hit. Listen, it's the cap hit's lunacy, I think. 8.2, over 8.2. It's also never going to affect the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, that's my thing on this deal. The money is it's imaginary money because you're always going to be so many below the cap that if you give a guy a huge payday, it doesn't affect your cap.
No.
So
you're not up against it.
In case you didn't know, 7 years, $57.5 million. It works out to be about $8.3 million per season.
8.2. 8.214.
Okay, well, Cap Friendly is saying, this year is 8.33 because he'll miss a week. And then it's 8.205714.
Yeah,
so that's why.
Yeah,
that is confusing. And he doesn't get a no move clause until the last 3 years of the deal, which gives him a tremendous amount of leverage. Now, the actual salary, though, is interesting.
Oh yeah, no signing bonus.
No signing bonuses at all. So that's interesting. But I bet because of that, he was able to get the Senators to come up on the actual number.
Yep.
The other thing is he makes $4 million this year, 6.5, and then it balloons to 10.5 for 3 straight years. So he's like, I'll take a small raise and a small raise, quote unquote, and then another small raise, and then you can blow the doors off with the money. But the actual money for this year for the Senators is $4 million, and I think that's interesting because we've just gone basically 2 seasons without any fans in the building. So they're probably like, listen, Brady, we're choking here.
There's lots of contracts like that.
Yeah.
I think Pettersson's looks like that. And yeah, a lot of deals are very low at the beginning and woo.
But everybody's talking about that 3-year mark when revenues come back.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic numbers.
Wasn't it great, though, to see him out there in front of all the fans? It was like WWE. Like he was up there and he's like getting the fans up. And I'm like, that is kudos to the Senators for doing that. That's great theater. And Brady Tkachuk is exactly the kind of attitude you want the Ottawa Senators to have.
That's the word. Theater. It's so that you don't want to start your season with a cloud, right? Yeah. Nylander being out of the lineup or holding out, it wasn't really a cloud. And also the Leafs had just
no, it was a cloud.
It was a cloud.
Go watch our videos.
It was a cloud for us. But like Leaf fans, I think were like, Nylander's not there, but you know who is there? John Tavares, because that was his first year.
Mm-hmm. Maybe net neutral cloud.
I was at Tavares' first game. It wasn't a net neutral cloud. It was pretty amazing. But with the Senators' first game, we're finally out of the house. We're at this game, and Brady Tkachuk though, and then he's there. It's announced in the morning, so you have a day's worth of Stone Cold Steve Austin memes and shit and getting you hyped up, and there's a great mood, and I'm feeling good about the Ottawa Senators, and you know what? I'm going to buy tickets to this game to go see the Ottawa Senators, and theater is a part of it that you can't discount. It's the mood of the fan base instantly improves the second that deal goes through.
If you're a Sens fan, are you not like, you feel like an Islanders fan, like you're going to throw a chair? Like,
that's why it's a great contract. You get Brady Tkachuk for 8 years. That's it. It's 7 years. Sorry, it's
still good.
8 years, $8 million. I should say it's a great deal.
And you can say what you want about the points totals, and I get that people are like, "Well, it's an overpay or whatever." I definitely think when you strip a team back like the Sens did, and you're a smaller market, you do pay a tax for not having stars on your roster. And what I mean by that is, I look at kind of what happened with the Toronto Maple Leafs a little bit here too, and what will happen in Buffalo when they eventually turn it around is. Brady Tkachuk could look at the Senators and go, okay, who else you got? Right? Well, you're not going to trade me. I know you're not going to trade me. So you're probably going to just have to do what I say. And the Leafs thing was like they had good players, but a lot of the good players that ushered in the next generation, the JVRs, the Bozaks, all those guys, were either older or were going to be too expensive or whatever. They weren't under contract. So the Leafs pay a tax because Matthews and Marner look at them and go, who else you got? You going to trade me?
Oh,
not going to happen.
Jack Eichel's contract.
Oh, 100%.
Hi, I would like $10 million because no one else is here.
Yeah. I'm the guy.
And you know what? If that's the tax the Senators have to pay, so be it.
It'll never affect their salary cap.
No.
Like you said, Steve. It's imaginary money.
It's also, I mean, it might not look the best on Cap Friendly, but you know where it looks good? In the building when the fans go, hooray, which is your entire business.
Right.
It looks great when he's wearing a C.
Yeah.
Like-
So is that been announced yet? Is he been
No.
No, but it's going to happen.
See, there are a couple of good things for the Sens, man. Like, they've got some good players and stuff. The jerseys are killer. The new
I really like them, yeah.
Love those jerseys. And then obviously Brady.
I still like Sens guy. When
No.
you put the Senators man
the
look.
Phaneuf logo? No.
The Dion Phaneuf looking fella.
It looks like, who's the guy from wrestling who keeps stealing, like, he's got the thing.
Oh,
and he keeps, and
Paul
everybody,
Bearer?
Paul Bearer.
The urn?
That logo looks like Paul Bearer. He's just
No,
like,
it doesn't.
You're stealing it.
Oh, Leafs Nation. Always buying up the tickets.
It doesn't look like Paul Bearer.
does.
Paul Bearer's like a chubby man, is
I
he
know,
not?
but it's
that's a skinny army looking dude.
Young Paul Bearer, a handsomer Paul Bearer.
Okay.
When he was doing his military service.
No.
Anyway, now there's a lot more to talk about in the NHL. Obviously, Senators played a great game last night. I do want to say shout out to Anton Forsberg. That was an unbelievable performance, and no matter what, you got it. Game can respect game. That was a hell of a game. We at least had 50 shots that actually hit the net.
Something like that.
And then it was like over 70 shot attempts.
It was.
Come on.
It was, and especially good for a goalie who I don't think was projected to start the season.
Yeah, I think we should say some words for Matt Murray. Like,
Well, so
Yeah,
what happened there? Because I didn't know about that until I turned the TV on and was like, what's Forsberg doing in it?
apparently it came down like that day. He just let everybody know he couldn't go that day.
Oh,
and then
shoot.
that's it. So we don't really know if it was injury or what's happening there. So just hopefully because that's the guy. He's had such a rocky career post Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like you hope he get and
Well, even at the end of
Pittsburgh,
yeah.
you hope that he gets it back because Matt Murray's he was such a great goalie in his prime when he was taking them to the cup. So hopefully it's nothing serious and he's back there on Saturday they play.
Yeah, so that's the bad story. The good story is Anton Forsberg, who was basically held hostage last season, got to play the best game of his career. And like, I mean, that's hyperbole, but like he was just in waivers purgatory.
I think it was
for like 3 months.
Yeah.
5 different waivers he claims he's had over the course of his career.
In a COVID season.
Ugh.
Like,
All because Carolina was like yoink, and also we're not going to use you,
Yeah.
and then we're going to trade a Calder candidate. Like, what? Just very strange decisions
I
all
think
around.
if you're expecting Carolina to ever be completely normal and conservative and boring, they're never going to be, which is what makes them so much fun. Now, we do have to move on to some other scoreboards. It's fall, which means football season is in full swing, and that means for you, that's a way to get some skin in the game and have a little extra fun, and that's why BetMGM remains the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. As a fan of The Athletic, you can bet $10 to win $150 plus a free 3-month subscription or extension to your subscription with The Athletic when you use BetMGM and the promo code. Just sign up at betmgm.com and use this promo code, TheAthleticPod, at checkout to take advantage of this special offer from the king of sportsbooks. That's a $10 bet to win $150 plus 3 months free from The Athletic at betmgm.com using the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout. It's a new customer offer. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, Washington, D.C., Nevada, Wyoming, and Virginia, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER in Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789 in Tennessee or call 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana.
You know, there's nothing more challenging, I think, in life than integrating your sleep with somebody else. It's one of the most challenging things, especially if you're a light sleeper. Now, for me, I am one of the deepest sleepers that I've ever met, personally. Alarms don't wake me up. I could sleep on this desk right now. However, learning to sleep with somebody else, like, for instance, my girlfriend, it's tricky. And that's why Helix makes things interesting. If you're in that sort of same situation where you and your partner are completely in love with each other, but you can't really sleep well together because the mattress doesn't work, the settings don't work, Helix Sleep is for you. So Helix Sleep has a quiz. It takes 2 minutes, and you complete that, and it matches your body type and sleep preference for you. But here's the thing. It also matches for your partner. So it's made for you to sleep with your partner and for both of you to get the maximum amount of rest out of your sleep. And we know, especially with all the research coming out, how important that is. So if you need your mattress cool, if you need it firm, if you need it soft, if you need it where it doesn't move as much, there's so many different options, and you can take advantage of all of them. HelixSleep.com is waiting for you. Go to HelixSleep.com/SDP. It will say, welcome SDP listener. Like you. It's talking to you. It's going to ask you to take a 2-minute quiz, going to match you to your customized mattress, and it will give you the best sleep of your life. And they have a 10-year warranty, which, I mean, how long do you need a mattress for? 10 years. And you get to try it out for 100 nights for free. They will pick it up if you don't love it, but you'll love it. Helix Sleep even has financing options and flexible payment plans because a good night's sleep leads to a profitable and productive day. It also just makes you a nicer person to be around. I know for me, I'm no fun when I don't get any sleep. So Helix is offering also $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for you. HelixSleep.com/SDP. Again, it's HelixSleep.com/SDP. $200 off your mattress order and 2 free pillows, along with the mattress that's going to change the way you sleep. Oh! It's this time in the show again. So excited to talk to you about this. Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard about the Lawnmower 4.0? Do you know about it? Have you never heard us talk about Manscaped? About having a clean down there area and how important it is? We want you to be spaceship ready. That's right. We want you to be tournament ready if you're a swimmer, because you're not allowed to have hair on your body. And that's why you should sign up with Manscaped. And by sign up, I mean just go to the website and use the promo code DANGLE. Why? Because obviously, now here's the thing. Inside the package that you're going to buy for your package, you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. You're going to find the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer because we want to get rid of those little willows that grow out of those spots. You also get the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Want to smell good, right? Who doesn't? You also get a toner. Got to have them shiny. And Performance Boxer Briefs to pack them in, as well as a travel kit too, so you can bring it on the road with you. Say you travel a lot. You might need it. Now, again, Lawnmower 4.0 has got some incredible technology in there. Let's just say this. Accidents are not welcome. And their technology actually kind of helps you be accident-free, along with the fact that it's got an LED light that's 4,000K, just so you can have a precise look at what's happening while it's happening. Do you see what I'm saying? So get 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Why? Because we could. 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Listen, we know that this is your favorite commercial, and that's why we want to remind you one more time. It's 20% off using the promo code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Your spaceballs will thank you. I cannot believe this Buffalo-Montreal game. I cannot believe this Buffalo-Montreal game.
Who scored?
So we got Okposo scored, and then Zemgus Girgensons, one of the greatest names in the NHL history. Wideman for the Canadiens, Olofsson, York, Tage Thompson. And that spread over 3 periods. Now,
Wow.
let me just say this. And you know, everybody's super down on the Sabres, rightfully so. And really, you should just be down on their management. But you do have to wonder.
You should be cheering for those players.
You should be cheering. You have to wonder if you're a Sabres player right now, and everybody's shitting on you right now. What usually happens, or what can happen, especially in the NHL, with a merry band of "we got nothing to lose"?
I said this about a month ago. It's going to be at least one of the Coyotes or the Sabres are going to way overachieve because their expectations are beneath the American Hockey League.
The easiest money in the world was putting money on over 16 wins, the over-under for the Sabres. Come on.
Is that actually what it
that's
was?
Did you put it on?
No, I didn't bet on it. But
Can I bet on it now?
I don't
No,
know. The
probably
season's probably started. I think
okay.
it's probably you
Bummer.
didn't hit that in the preseason.
See, I thought that was
but-
just
I don't know how to
32
bet.
thoughts pulling it out of nowhere.
No, that's from the odds makers. It's ridiculous. They have to be historically bad to hit 16 wins.
I would have
And
put hundreds of dollars on
Right?
it.
This
Oh my
team is
God.
going to be decent, and any NHL team's getting over 16 wins.
I
And
said
this-
10 wins, by the way, in the season.
Yeah,
preview.
you're so wrong.
Fine, but I would still take that bet, even though at the time I did believe 10 wins. This is shocking, though. And I wonder, Steve, I know you want to say something here, but
No.
I do wonder The Montreal Canadiens are a bit injury depleted, so we need to give them that.
And just not that good to begin with. They're not. They're not. Why are you looking at me like that? Where did you have them ranked? Where did you have them ranked?
6th in the division.
6th in the division?
Well, listen, if you ask Montrealers, they'll say, hey, they went to the finals last year.
Yeah, and you were all shocked. All of you. Every one of you.
Where's Deneau, Carey Price, and Shea Weber? Not here is the answer.
Gone.
I don't think
Well,
is
gone and
Edmondson
injured.
out of the lineup and
it's not good.
Hoffman.
It's not great.
Petrie.
And
Petrie was there.
Petrie's in.
I was listening to. I've listened to the first couple episodes of Game Over with Andrew Berkshire, and by the way, who has done a spectacular job.
So
Wonderful.
good.
Compelling, but
Not that I should sound surprised, but so proud of my friend.
Yeah,
like
you're
what a
just
good job.
Overwhelmed with pride for
Yeah.
Andrew. So happy for him because he's fucking spectacular.
He's so good. So
Julian McKenzie, though, from the CJ show, went on because we like synergy here.
That was the first one.
Yeah, he went on the first one. And one of the things they talked about the game against the Leafs was how the Habs are going to have to change their power play. Because what they're used to is Shea Weber from the point and Shea Weber from the point and everybody get in front of the net and don't get hit in the face, Shea Weber from the point. And now they're going to have to shift things around. And one of the things that they were talking about is just even something small, like the Leafs were really on them in the penalty kill. And one of the things that Andrew said is and Jack Hahn, I think, was talking about too, is if you just switch positions, you throw a team that's penalty killing into a bit of chaos because they don't know where you're going to go. So if Steve is on the point and Jesse's on the high wing and I'm on the low wing and Jesse and Steve just switch, even that little adjustment like that can throw an entire penalty kill off, and the Habs don't do that. And I wonder, Hoffman's not in the lineup. I think that changes things when Hoffman gets in the lineup.
That's a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good shot.
Yeah.
So he's good for 20 goals minimum.
But it was such a great point because they were letting everybody understand how they were still playing as if they had the big booming defenseman. So like if Hoffman comes back, hopefully that changes everything because they're missing. Andrew made the example of they had prime PK and then they went to Shea Weber. And then they never, this year, it seems like they haven't filled that slot.
Yeah, you've got Jeff Petrie, but you had Jeff Petrie and Shea Weber before, right?
Right. It's, just when Marner has the puck, cut off Matthews, and that's the whole strategy. It's done.
It's nice to see, by the way, saw Marner drive to the net a couple times. Really like that.
The first
really
power
liking
play
it.
unit, I was getting ready to just tee off on them, and then they decided to get 8 shots in one power play.
The only thing with Marner, he lacks a little finish. I wish he could finish at the net a little.
I at least appreciate how pissed off he is about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I like that he's
Good.
driving. One thing I will say, though, is the Leafs power play in the first month of last year in the season started at 43%.
Mm-hmm.
Where were they in May?
Like 27.
It was like 6.
How many? 5%.
5.
Oh, no way.
Awful.
5%.
The Habs,
So I'm excited about the power play
God.
early, but you can understand how I might be like, well, I sure hope they keep this going.
It's been terrible.
Getting back to the Habs,
Yeah.
Another thing that hurts them a little bit is just kind of a lack of size up front.
Yeah.
Not really enough, and that definitely makes life more difficult in front of the net.
I got to shout out the Nashville Predators social team who, and we're just switching gears here because I want to get through some of the other games, who did the fake banner thing.
They love a fake banner.
Gave Seattle the first franchise win, which is pretty funny. Good for them.
That's good.
4-3 win. And, the Kraken got their first fight. They got their first win. It's a bummer that it couldn't come at home.
Right.
But that's the way it goes, and they'll get plenty of wins at home.
You'll take the 2 points over the win at home.
I gotta say, I really like this Kraken team. I was highly critical, and then I have them third in their division, and I think people thought that was high, but I really think that this is a very good team.
Did you see Stone
Solid all the way through.
Stone getting mad at Geeky for some reason? The Golden Knights were mad at Morgan Geeky.
I don't know. I didn't understand that one.
I didn't. Yeah, they're like, oh, it's celebration, and he literally did a fist pump, scoring the 7th goal of his career, less than 40 games into his career, erasing a 3-goal deficit in his franchise's first ever game. I don't know, man. What do you want, Mark? Like I didn't understand that at all. I'm not going to go too hard at Mark Stone because he got hurt after that. But
did you see Jock Peterson's first goal with Washington? Peterson's first goal, and then TJ Oshie picked him up off the ice to celebrate.
Yes.
What's his name?
It's Jack Peterson. Hold on, Peterson.
Yeah, you're not. I don't think you have the name right.
Washington. I watched the highlights at.
Are you talking about Hendrix Lapierre?
No, is that who it was? I
don't know who Jock
I watch the
Peterson
highlights
is.
every morning at 4 a.m. Jock Peterson's from a different sport. I know that.
Jock Peterson's a baseball player.
So I'm gonna go to Daily
I think he
Faceoff.
plays for the Red Sox.
Listen, there's never a show.
No, the Braves.
Oh, the Braves.
Jake Peterson.
Is it Jake?
No, Jake Lapierre.
Whatever his name
No,
is.
everyone's Jake.
I'm gonna look it up. The reason is that, like, again, I said I don't ever get to do this show not having woken up at 4 a.m. So it's a bummer because sometimes your brain just doesn't work the same. And who was it?
Hendrix Lapierre.
It was Hendrix Lapierre.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Shout out the Braves who are going to play the Dodgers in the
That is going to be a great
AL,
series.
AL finals.
I think that they had just run
Or
the highlights.
NL finals,
They had
sorry.
run the highlights before, I think.
bless you,
probably.
Adam.
Whatever.
Bless you.
Anyway, it was so cool. Like, I don't know who was more excited about that goal, Hendrix Lapierre or TJ Oshie. And TJ Oshie physically just picking up and go, come here, and like hugging him. That was an incredible moment. So great. And Ovechkin had a hell of a first game too. Like, questionable until the game time. And then, I'll just score a casual 2 goals.
Yeah, because the final preseason game, he got injured, and everyone's like, what the fuck, Ovechkin? And then now he's going to catch Gretzky this year by December.
Like, what a beast.
It's funny. There are people still who don't think that that's possible.
It's extraordinarily possible.
It's very possible. And I think, and rightfully so, I think we wrote it off, especially in the late 90s when the trap game came in. And then, the most, 82 points in 82 games was rare.
Gretzky
at
has a
point.
90-goal season.
92.
92?
A 92-goal season.
Yeah.
And you ever see him do an interview about it?
No.
He goes, I should have had 100.
Oh, God.
I
That's
loved,
ridiculous.
by the way, can we just do an aside for the American coverage? So I was watching Tampa, Pittsburgh, and the way that ESPN shoots a hockey game is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, really good.
First off, they shoot it in 1080p or 4K, so the picture's much clearer than what we get. And then the other thing is
we have 4K.
That we have 4K, but you have to pay for the channel.
Yeah.
They're shooting everything with those cameras all the time.
If you have Sportsnet 4K, you get the broadcast in 4K.
I have Sportsnet. I have the app. I should get 4K.
Get your Ignite TV box.
Wow.
And get 4K.
Are you defecting back?
I have Ignite TV. It's awesome. I watch all of my sports in 4K, and I a lot of the times I like recording the game and then just fast forwarding through commercials, and then I get a speedy little watch in 4K. It's beautiful.
There it is. Well, let me tell you this. What I loved about this as a
Adam, get wrecked on Netflix.
The thing that I love as a production nerd is the shot that they did. So they had all the Tampa Bay Lightning, lined up in a semicircle, and they're watching this banner come up, and the camera is panning behind all of their heads, and you could see all the jerseys lined up, and and then there's Victor Hedman and everybody else, and it was just such a powerful shot. And then they shoot it. The banner goes up into the stands, and the camera's shooting up, so you're basically on the ice with the players. There's just a way that ESPN does things. And you're like, that's why they're them. And that is what this sport has been missing. And it's not a diss to NBC, but NBC just never came close. And I think American fans especially, and I know this from having, dealing with production deals and stuff now with this network, hockey can be often forgotten in the advertising industry down there. And I'm kind of excited for hockey to get back on the map.
Did you see what Charles Barkley said?
What do you say?
On the TNT panel?
Which, by the way, is spectacular.
He goes...
So good.
He goes, hockey was on the Outdoor Life Network. I'm rich and I didn't get that channel.
Gary Bettman was on Good Morning America promoting that ESPN had the rights now and TNT is going to have the rights. And I'm gonna screw this up, but his quote was basically, if ESPN does as good a job as shutting us out of American television as they do promoting it going forward, hockey's gonna grow exponentially.
Because they basically shut him out for like a decade or whatever.
So hopefully they do a good job doing the other side now.
Yeah. Should we show hockey highlights or bowling? I'm gonna go with high school bowling.
Now, I know Gary would probably want to be on Good Morning America. But if I am promoting the sport,
That was the Twitter
Gary is
conversation.
probably not my guy.
Yeah.
And if I was Gary, I would probably go, I'm probably not the guy here.
Yeah, you don't send Goodell to promote NFL football.
Well, Goodell, listen, there's some problem, but Goodell at least is like,
But Goodell's not Russell Wilson.
yeah,
You know, send the star, send Sidney Crosby,
Well-
send Ovi. I don't know.
send PK.
Send
Send a
PK.
personality.
Yeah, send Matthews. Matthews will say something semi-interesting.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
I don't know.
One of the Rangers. Any of them.
Yeah.
Any of the Rangers. Good point. Any of the Rangers.
Any of Ryan Reeves. Send Ryan Reeves.
would have been perfect.
There you go.
Yes. Just send Ryan Reeves. No, you send Gary Bettman, who's always going to give you a straight up answer. So, Gary, you're on Good Morning America. I might be. I mean, I'm here. I'm in the building. I'm in the studio. The camera's on and we're broadcasting. Am I on Good Morning America? Who's to say?
That's really good.
He's a good lawyer. He's a damn good lawyer. That's why he gets paid.
Two things. You were talking about the production stuff. One thing that really bothers me is Fox, when they do their baseball coverage, a lot of the times they don't have 4K cameras, but they broadcast in 4K, and it's just upscaled 1080p. And I know because I did the research, but a lot of the consumers don't know. You're getting upscaled 1080p, and they're saying it's a 4K broadcast because they're upscaling.
Is that right?
It's a lot, but they're not
With football?
With baseball.
Baseball.
They
Are
don't-
they giving you a medium beer in a large cup?
Yeah, because they didn't supply all the stadiums with all the 4K cameras because that's very expensive. So now they have a 4K broadcast, but they're still using the old 1080p cameras. So they're just upscaling the broadcast that they're getting and sending it out as
Interesting.
4K. It's fucking lie.
Interesting.
It's terrible. They're lying to the consumer.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
That is actual bullshit.
It
Like,
is.
it's like, listen, you're Fox. You can afford some 4K cameras. They might be $120,000 each or whatever they are. They're outrageously expensive for what it is, because 4K is already on the way out. 16K that's in the movies right now, and then they're going to bring that.
When you're filming on film in movies, they've been on like whatever,
Yeah.
20K forever.
Whatever the hell it is.
It takes forever to catch up.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, at this point, 4K's been around for like 8 years,
Yeah.
and it's still not integrated properly. And like at consumer tech shows and stuff like that, like Samsung's already coming out with I don't even know.
You can go to Best Buy today and get an 8K TV. Like, it's hella expensive, but it's a thing. But there's nothing. There's nothing being broadcast in 8K, so there's literally 0 point to buying it.
Whenever I walk in there, I'm like, can I have whatever DVD it is you guys are running to make this TV look so good? Because my picture, you know,
Very funny.
it's like it's a big cascading mountain, and there's a waterfall, and there's ducks flapping, and I'm like, wow, that TV is gorgeous. And I bring it home, and it's like, whoa, all right.
They got
To
the
watch
DVD.
Peppa Pig?
Yeah, Daddy Pig looks about the same as Daddy Pig looks.
Peppa Pig in 14K.
Yeah. I do want to mention too the Lightning Detroit game yesterday was amazing, because midway through, by the way, that tweet that people got on me for, thankfully I didn't get ratioed, but people were like, yeah, well, the Tampa Bay Lightning are getting crushed by the Detroit Red Wings right now. And that was because it was in the second period, not knowing, of course, that even though Detroit came out and scored 2 more goals in the third, Tampa would go 4 unanswered, 7-6.
Overtime. Yeah.
Can Andre Vasilevsky stop being my worst fantasy player, please?
So talk about that, because I know that he's thrilled to get him.
killing me.
2 games. Give him a break.
He's killing me. So, okay, in my fantasy draft, I looked at how the points were weighted, and I was like, okay, goalies are going to be very important. After Connor McDavid, there's probably going to be a severe drop-off in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So, with my first pick, since I don't have the first one, my first 2 picks, because it's a snake draft, so I'm going to have 2 picks close together,
boo.
I'm going to get the 2 best goalies I can, and then worry about scoring after. So I go bang, bang, Vasilevsky, Hellebuck.
Wow.
And they both stink. My best goalie right now is Cal Peterson.
Wow.
Are you sure
By the way,
is
that's a sick trio.
You have Hellebuck and Vasilevsky.
I have Hellebuck, Vasilevsky, Cal Peterson.
And so you're carrying 3 goalies.
Yeah.
In a 2-goalie lead, or 2-goalie league. Where
Well,
you
I
start
have
2 goalies.
For when one has the night off. Right?
But you have 2.
You have a bench as well.
Yeah, but that's a terrible way to draft.
Why?
Because if you have 3 goalies, you should have one of the 1Bs and a 1, and then you have one of the backups.
Peterson will probably.
It's kind of, but you have two bona fide starters. So you
can. Sorry, I should say you can start two goalies.
Yeah, you can start two goalies. So you have your two bona fide starters.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have wasted such a high draft pick on another bona fide starter. You only need one. You should have spent that draft capital on something else. Also, you're in an amateur fantasy league because you're doing a rotisserie. You're doing a snake draft instead of an auction.
An auction?
Yeah, you should be auction drafting. Switch to that next year.
Explain that to me.
So you have like a $200 budget, and then there's a play like Connor McDavid comes up, and then everybody bids on him.
Oh,
yeah, that's the way you draft. Oh, we can talk about fantascy for hours.
Oh yeah, maybe we
I like that.
Might need a show for that. The other thing I wanted to mention is Tyler Bertuzzi's goal, which it's unfortunate because as a Leaf fan we can relate to this. Score the most franchise-altering, beautiful goal of your entire career, still lose the game.
And lose.
4 goals.
Yeah, the Matthews pointing goal, that they lost that game.
Yep. Hey, scoring 4 goals in a game does not guarantee you a win.
Yeah, weirdly, if you're the Leafs.
Is the dangle on the, what was it, the second one, where he split the 2 D-men?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I had no idea Bertuzzi was that talented.
Yeah, stupid. But I
because he didn't play last year, basically. Like he was an all-star the year before.
Yep.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
Yeah, but like somebody from Detroit had to be. Not that he wasn't. Not that he wasn't. But
every team sends a guy, right?
Yeah, like Leo Komarov with an all-star.
You know what? He was smart because
not that I'm not taking shots at Tyler Bertuzzi, by the way. It's like, he is
Detroit's going to miss him for 9 games this year for no good reason.
Yeah.
For no good reason. He's too good for that, but oh well, it's his choice, whatever. But he was smart in St. Louis because he did what the players hate doing, and that's showing up early. But he's smart because if you show up early, that means you get everything done quicker. We had him in, we had him out, he was done. That dude was done his media tour shit before most players arrived.
Yeah.
I appreciated it anyway.
Well, I have to say, it's like Detroit is going to be fun this year.
I told you that.
Detroit's going to be fun this year.
I told you that.
I like the fact that they're at least challenging Tampa. It's early. It's fun. That's good. I do want to quickly mention here, too, before we get into the press conference, because we do have to get into that.
Oh.
Do you want to keep going to Detroit?
Oh, yeah. I wanted the Larkin Joseph stuff.
What? Okay, talk to us.
Did you? Okay, so Matthew Joseph hits Larkin with, you cannot do that hit. Nope. I assume he'll get suspended. And then Dylan Larkin responds by whammo punching this guy in the face with his glove on, which you also can't do. I think both guys might get dinged.
I at least like that Detroit's not going to take any shit.
No.
Like, you're not going to do that to our guys. Because that was a problem with Toronto early on when they were in that same stage where Detroit is right now, where they kind of stink.
Whoa, that is a Falco punch.
Yeah.
Right to the
face. But the problem is that, Toronto wouldn't do that. They got punked a lot.
Okay, like it loses some of its fire because they lost, but you establish a precedent. You can't fucking touch me like that. And that's the captain doing his own fighting. And probably in a position where he's hurt. And speaking of captains and dirty hits, Landeskog.
Yeah, I was going to mention.
Getting that suspension.
It's one of those hits where I feel like it didn't need to happen, but I also, you can almost see how it could have.
It's an early season example getting made of Landeskog, and because of the suspension Blake Coleman got at the end of the preseason, you've established you can't do this. This is 2 games. That's why I think Joseph might get 2 games and Larkin will get 1.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Or Larkin will get a fine.
Charlie McAvoy.
You always forget that the league loves a fine.
Charlie McAvoy has re-signed in Boston. 8 years, $9.5 million a piece. And it's interesting. You don't often hear this. Usually it's either, that's an overpay, or wow, they got a deal. But Dom Lucian actually put it in his graph, and he said, worth every penny.
Oh, he's an amazing player. As a Leaf fan, I couldn't help but be like, oh, so Morgan Riley's like gone. But this is the new market. This is why I said Quinn Hughes was going to get more than Elias Pettersson. Like the price for defenseman is wild. Absolutely wild. But at least he's really good.
I wonder if the new, and this could be stupid, but I wonder if the new... Remember when...
Market inefficiency is cheap defenseman?
Not cheap defenseman, but a system that can accommodate cheap defensemen.
Like
if you ever figured out truly how to have a system where the max your defenseman makes is 5.5, which is what Leddy was making last year. Pelech is what?
Well, there's Pelech and Pulock, which is not confusing at all. But Pulock just got, I think it was 6 point something for 8 years.
Okay.
Which is going to look...
Come on.
Yeah, man. It's going to look so good.
But they play... Like, they have a system where you can have guys that you can plug in that maybe aren't that great. And that's not... I'm not taking... Like, that aren't, like, superstars, and it's okay. And I think whoever the next great mind is in hockey, wherever that emerges, whoever can figure out how to have defense play extremely well, extremely effective, maybe top third in the league without having a $8 or $9 million defenseman. I mean, that's got to be the next big thing.
The Capitals got it wrong with Barry Trotz. Not just because he's successful, but they didn't want to pay him his money. No, you guys don't get it. Barry Trotz keeps prices down. He plays a certain way. Every Barry Trotz team forever
Preds
has always played a certain way. And who on those teams got friggin' paid?
None.
Nobody.
David Legwand.
Weber. That's it. Because he got offer sheeted.
And I think Suter was on those teams, right? He developed on those teams.
But he didn't get his money until Minnesota gave it to him. Barry Trotz keeps prices down. But they didn't want to pay him. No, that's too much.
$4 million too much.
It was just way too much.
I thought there was some tension between him and the GM. And I think that might have been part of it.
Get over it. You won a cup. And he keeps prices down. Egos. They'll kill you every time.
Wow. Man. And lastly, I did want to mention too, Dallas looked pretty good with Braden Holtby in net. And that was interesting because we talked about this in the offseason. You know, he signed there for $2 million because it's probably the money he lost from Vancouver. I think that's about what he lost in the buyout, maybe. And
I wouldn't have paid him much more than that after his performance in Vancouver.
Certainly not. But as we said, if you don't make it happen this year, you could find yourself out of the league.
Yep.
And, they need him because they have, Hudobin's playing.
Yep.
But Bishop is not. And it has not played for a year. So it's one of those things where this is a great opportunity. It was such a bummer for him to go down. Like, same with Mrazek. Like, Mrazek groin, he gets a stick to the head and has to leave. Did you see that?
Holtby,
yeah. It was like a stick. It was like an errant stick, and it got into his mask.
Oh, the first
and I think
week
it might have been a concussion. Like, to me, I feel like it might have been, and I'm totally speculating. I don't actually know. Felt like it might be a concussion.
Oh, no.
Like, he got up, he played, but he was, and then Hudobin had to come in. And I was like, damn it. Like, it would be, stories like that are the best stories. Guy has a couple of 2-3 bad years after winning the cup.
Right.
And really needs to turn it around, starts hot, and then it's like, wow, resurgence. I love stories like that.
An older goalie signing with Dallas it's a match made in heaven because they play sort of similarly to what I was talking about with the Islanders.
That's a really good point.
They're really structured. Like, what a place to reestablish who you are in this league. The Canucks, you're signing up to be the guide for their young goalie, right? He's going to be your apprentice and also the starter. But the team was not set up to help Holtby succeed. The Stars are. It's a good match.
Really good point. They do play that smothering defense.
Good fit.
All right, shall we do the press conference?
Here's the Holtby injury, if you want to see.
Yeah, it's bizarre, right?
Oh,
yeah, just inside of the
just a weird thing.
Like he's caught unawares. Big change in direction. Yeah, that's. I mean, it at very, if nothing else, hurt like hell.
Yeah, not great. And it comes after he made that unbelievable save too. You see that one on Strome?
No, there's too much hockey. There's just too much.
I'll play it for you as well.
Can I also? Okay, I got a text message to read you guys once this is done. Hang on.
Anyways, let's get it.
Also,
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
That's never happened before. I got scared by the thing.
by the intro. Two things before we get started, Jesse. Sorry to do this to you.
Sure.
First off, I got a text from Sid Sixero just like a minute ago.
Did you say the Calder Cup means nothing?
No, he said Dangle's impression of me was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. So
Dangle's impression of me is the worst fucking thing I've ever seen.
So you know what we need to do is get you guys on. We need you to read like 50 Shades of Grey or something, like something really uncomfortable, but as Sid, and then have Sid read it too. And the other thing is somebody asked on Twitter, they're like, hey, Adam, can you help me with what Charlie McAvoy's contract would be per day? Talking about it on the podcast, help me put numbers into perspective. So what you do, $9.5 million. And you divide that by 200 days.
It's exactly 200 days?
200 days. So per day, once this extension kicks in, because I believe that starts next year, does it not?
Yeah, I would have to.
Charlie McAvoy will make $47,500 American dollars a day, which is probably 55 Canadian a day.
Do you see why I cheered against player who I won't name, in contract negotiations? Oh yeah, the little guy. Come on, Charlie. Always root for the little guy. You go and get your $47,000.
But he's worth it. He brings that much value to the team, probably more in a free and open market, which it's not.
I'm just saying there is no.
And what is the billionaire that owns the team? Let's talk about that. What's his intake per day?
Okay, sorry. Let me correct myself. I will cheer for Charlie McAvoy versus Jeremy Jacobs.
Yeah. One day, I hope somebody writes a book or does a documentary on Jeremy Jacobs.
Yeah.
Because this guy, in the shadows, if you're a fan that's never really... Jeremy Jacobs is one of the biggest names in the sport, one of the biggest power players in the sport, never does interviews, never gets mentioned, never gets talked about, and I think there's a reason why people freaked out.
1970s style owner who still owns a team in 2021.
Yeah. Jeremy Jacobs, guy you need to get to know. Okay, Jesse, sorry about that.
All good. Do you guys want to play a new game I'm trying out?
Let's do it.
I think we need to bring a little trivia back to the podcast.
Okay.
So I came up with a game called Hockey versus History.
Oh, okay. All
Interesting.
right.
I asked Adam a history question.
Okay.
I asked Steve a hockey question.
Oh shit, Adam's gonna kill me.
Or I asked the question, we'll alternate between, you guys get to pick whoever answers the question correctly the previous time gets to pick the category. And then you buzz in. I think that's the way we should go.
Okay.
I'm brainstorming this out loud. So I'm going to ask the question. We'll start with history. And then the first person to buzz in.
How do we buzz in? We just go buzz?
No, you got to yell your name. You say Adam or Steve.
Okay.
So Adam, you have to pay attention for this.
I'm paying attention. I'm just tweeting out, game over Montreal.
Okay, that's not necessary.
Sorry.
Okay. so I'll ask a question and then you buzz in.
Okay.
And then whoever answers it correctly gets to pick the next category. Okay. This is called Hockey versus History. And next time we do this, I'll get some intro music and we'll have a little fun with it.
It'll just be Jesse on his voice memos going, do-do-do-do-do-do.
Hockey versus history, people.
Okay, Steve.
It's got to be 70s sort of news intro.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Steve, you can't look at my computer, so I'm trying to...
That's why I'm doing this.
I'm trying to duck away.
Okay.
All right. First history question.
Oh, dear.
How many years... Adam, you got to...
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm paying attention.
How many years did the 100-Year War last? Somebody's got to buzz in.
Adam.
I
think it was, I know it's just under or just over. It's not 100, but I think it's 120 off and on. Am I wrong?
That is incorrect.
Yeah.
Steve, do you have a guess?
7.
What?
No.
116 years.
Oh.
All right, let's move to...
See, because I thought I
knew there was-
remembered something from history where it was nowhere near 100 years. No.
There was probably a war like that, but yeah, no, it was 100. It's on and off, right?
Well, you were closer to right.
Let's move over to the hockey category.
Okay. All right.
Which San Jose player did Toronto acquire for their 2003 postseason run?
Adam. Owen Nolan.
Owen Nolan is correct.
Wow.
For Brad Boys.
It's first to 5.
And I was so excited about
Okay.
that. I loved Owen.
Adam,
He was so good. 2 goals in his first game.
Adam has 1 point. Would you like history or hockey?
Let's go history.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to play my odds here, right?
Let's move over.
What are the chances I get another hockey question on Steve, right?
It's true.
Seriously.
I'm not the quickest, though. That was very good.
Oof.
One of the ancient world wonders, the Hanging Gardens, was found in which city?
Adam. Babylon.
Babylon is correct.
Shit. Oh my
So
God.
apparently they haven't figured out yet how they did this, but it was a gigantic garden that was in the middle of the city, and then water just somehow pumped up to the top of this tower, and then it kind of cascaded down, and then you'd have plants and stuff, and one of the wonders of the world. And I think it was the Macedonians under Alexander the Great that when they conquered it, I think they burned it down. But and no one quite knows how it happened.
That's mean.
Well, they'd been at war for a long time. So
Fair. All right.
it's
Adam?
ancient warfare.
You are up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Which category would you like? History or hockey?
Now, do I pad my lead with some more history?
Pat it.
Do I?
Adam.
And then I'll go back to hockey. Okay.
Play to win. Play to win.
Play to win. Yeah.
History.
How many U.S. presidents have been assassinated?
Steve. Two.
Incorrect. Adam, you can steal. Good
Okay,
try, though, Steve.
I can think of two offhand. Can't figure out if he died in office or not. 3.
Incorrect.
Is it just the one?
The
I was
correct
gonna say
answer is 4.
4.
Yes.
4?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Here, I don't have the.
So JFK,
Lincoln.
Lincoln, and then I thought it was the guy right before Teddy Roosevelt, but he might have I thought he died of a gunshot wound. There was one guy who was like a month in office.
We have Abraham Lincoln. He was assassinated April 15th, 1865. We have James Garfield, assassinated 1881, September 19th.
That's that Animaniac song. James Garfield, someone really hated because he was assassinated.
We have William McKinley,
Yeah.
That's
1901.
right before, and Teddy Roosevelt was his vice president, and that's how he became. That's what.
And then we have John F. Kennedy, 1963, on the grassy knoll.
who the
My
hell
other
remem-
my other guess was 3, so I would have got it wrong.
Honestly, in American
what.
history, after the Civil War to World War I, it's like a vacuum of this guy was president, but we're really not sure what he did. Same with like there's a guy named like Andrew Taylor or something like that. No one's ever like. It's cool, man. President Taylor.
Steve, would you like hockey or history? Because you both got it wrong, so we'll switch back.
Hockey,
over to
please.
Hockey. All right. Matt Sundin played with the Maple Leafs from 1994 to 2008, scoring 420 regular season goals. Whose Maple Leaf team record of 389 goals did Sundin eclipse
Steve.
during the?
Oh, sorry.
No. This
Do it.
You can
Do it.
You can cut me off anytime if you know
Do
the
it.
answer.
Ah, shit. Daryl Sittler?
Daryl Sittler is correct.
I wouldn't have got that.
That's 2-1 for Adam.
Usually when it's Leaf records, I'm like, Keon or Mahovlich. I don't know.
It's always...
Keon.
It's generally pretty underwhelming.
Yeah. Keon, Mahovlich, Sittler, Armstrong.
Hockey or history?
Hockey.
All right. What was Jack Adams' nickname?
Oh. I'm trying to think back to that Ted Lindsay drama that the CBC did on the founding of the NHLPA. Jack Adams is such a dick. He is. Jack Adams was an a-hole. Absolutely. All those owners back then were terrible.
Okay. Steve?
Steve?
I believe it was Jack, because I don't think that was his real name.
Close, but incorrect.
Shit.
Adam, can you steal?
Man, I don't really know Punch Him Lack. Jack Adams' nickname. Was it John?
No.
I don't know.
It was Jolly Jack.
Because he was such an a-hole.
Jolly Jack.
Yeah.
Adam, this is you both got it incorrect. Which
Okay.
category would you like?
Let's go hockey.
Hockey?
Oh, shut up.
Let it ride. Let's go, baby.
All right.
Fine.
Who was Ed Belfour's first team?
Adam.
Adam?
I almost regret this, but I think it is Chicago.
The Chicago Blackhawks! Well done!
Why did I think Buffalo? I don't know.
You didn't say it.
I don't think he ever played there either.
Because him and Dominic Hasek were on the same team for a while.
Yo, the Chicago Blackhawks with that goaltending tandem. Stupid. How do they not win a cup?
Stupid.
Ronick, Amonte, like they had a great team.
They chose the wrong Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
History or hockey?
History.
History. All right, let's move back to history. In which country did the Easter Rising take place?
Ireland.
Ireland is correct.
1915.
No,
shit.
1916.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
It was the middle of World
incorrect.
War I. Yeah. And long overdue. Home rule should have happened. Just saying.
What?
Well, so essentially what led it to that was that like the Brits were like, we're going to let Australia do their thing and we're going to let Canada do their thing. Ireland, we'll get to you eventually. And Ireland's finally like, fuck off, man. And that's basically.
They'd say that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they'd say it in better terms than that.
I've watched Dairy Girls.
Where are we
That's how
at?
they say it.
This
Adam's
is
up
amazing. What a
4-1.
show.
Really good show.
4-1?
4-1 for Adam.
Okay. All right.
Adam, would you like hockey or history?
Hockey. Let's go.
Got him right where I want
You
him.
want to
Yeah. It was 4-1.
You want to give it back to Steve?
I want to do hockey.
All right. Who was suspended for 8 season games and some playoff games for elbowing Scott Niedermayer?
Steve. Ty Domi.
Ty Domi is correct.
Was Gary Suter Paul Kariya?
I don't know.
Paul Kariya had
No,
that
Scott
big-
Stevens nailed
Was it
Paul
Paul
Kariya,
Kariya?
but he wasn't suspended
It wasn't
for
Gary
it.
Suter? Okay, anyway.
I don't remember. No,
4-2
Domi,
Adam.
it was so unnecessary, and the Leafs were winning too.
4-2 Adam.
Okay, go ahead, Steven.
Hockey, please.
You like hockey? Okay. Which Leafs player won the MVP in 1955?
Steve. Oh, no.
Like the MVP of the year? Like
Yeah.
the Hart?
The Hart that year. I don't know if was it called the Hart back then?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I will say
I'm not
MVP.
sure. Yeah.
I believe it was Teeter Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy
Nah.
is correct.
If you had missed that, I would have been like Turk Broda. Like I don't know, man.
There's so few MVPs to pick
100%.
from, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that one?
It's like I told you last episode, the last Vezina was 1965 for the Leafs.
God.
So I believe it's 4-3.
It is. I let him back in.
You did.
I'm very Leafs here.
Hockey or
Hockey.
history?
Leaky defense here.
Which Maple Leaf scored his first goal in his first NHL game during the last game of the regular season for the 02-03 season?
Steve.
I think I know this.
Matt Stajan on Martin Brodeur.
Matt Stajan on Martin Brodeur is correct.
Man, how do you hate that? That well done, Steve. Did I tell you guys I sat next to Matt Stajan at a Raptors game once? Him and his
No way.
girlfriend? Yeah.
No.
Very, very nice. We were I randomly ended up with courtside tickets. The only
Okay,
time I ever sat.
shut
So
up.
I want to sit courtside so bad.
this is when the Raptors were ass though. Courtsides were like $50.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Okay, so Adam's gotten a bunch of hockey ones. History.
Oh,
You're being nice. Stop being nice.
He got
should have
two
closed
hockey
it
ones.
out. Man, you should have closed it out.
Stop being
Should have closed
nice.
it out.
You're gonna get fucked on this one. Which infamous prison was stormed on July 14th, 1789?
Adam. The Bastille in just outside Paris.
And the Bastille in Paris is
It was
correct.
Folsom Prison. And that's what Johnny Cash wrote the song about.
Adam wins. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is the first edition of Hockey vs. History. Adam takes the crown.
You know what? That was a lot of fun. We got to do that again.
That was really good.
Jesse.
Was it?
Jesse is a mean trivia guy. He's so good.
Oh.
Yo, I hope we do more trivia like this because Jesse is.
I got to get the production.
Yeah.
The production's the fun part for me. Yeah.
That
Anyway,
was really good.
that was fun.
All right.
Damn.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, we'll end it there.
Okay. Well, listen. Thank you so much for listening.
Join our Discord.
Yeah, Jordan, over 7,000 people on our Discord.
During games, it is booming. Like, it's just constant people just talking about the games. Whatever game you want to watch, whatever NHL game you want to happen, you want to watch along with a bunch of people, there's a game day thread for the game, and it's just constant conversation. It's fantastic.
Also, check out the CJ show because Brady Tkachuk's contract was signed during recording yesterday. So it all breaks, and you get to hear CJ and Julian kind of go through it and talk about it and their initial reactions to it. There is nothing better than when they record because all the news breaks exactly when they record.
During.
Not after.
They're the opposite of us.
I know. It's almost as though,
Very annoying.
yeah, anyway, listen.
I'm checking for news just before we stop.
Check out hashtag CJ Show and Ask CJ on Twitter. And, follow Julian, follow Chris. Follow Andrew Berkshire. And we have more stuff coming up in the next few weeks that we're very excited about. That's all I can say.
Should have gone with hockey.
You should have closed me
why
out.
are you being nice?
Why didn't you close me out?
Because, no, I didn't want it hanging over my head that I didn't get a single history one, but you got hockey ones.
But it's still hanging over your head. You didn't get a single history
Steve.
one.
Pride.
You don't have a winner.
Yeah, no, I deserve to
Dude,
lose.
isn't it Sun Tzu? It's like if you're gonna hit a man, kill him. Like literally.
Oh, yeah, I read that
Take
book.
him out. Right?
I read that book. You're right.
The Bastille in Paris, Steve. That was the answer.
What was the hockey one?
Oh, okay. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, give us a hockey
Yeah,
bonus.
Here was the hockey one. I was going to ask if you didn't go with the history. It was, in what year did Matt Sundin become captain of the Leafs?
Steve.
Oh, I know this one.
1995?
Incorrect.
1997.
Adam would have won.
See?
So
I went down the way I should have.
Yeah.
You're just a big fat loser.
Hey, well, listen. Oh, wow.
What?
All
You
right.
lost.
Hey, next week, we are back to 3 episodes a week, and we're going to be there until at least July 15th, 2022,
God.
baby. I hope you're ready to party. Also, look out for Game Over Montreal after every Habs game and CJ Show. New episode up now. We love you. Thank you so much for listening.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.